Nobody knows when it'll happen exactly.
We're live. It says so.
Dun, dun, dun. And there we are. We are live. I need to Halloween myself. Hello and welcome to Eduprotocols Live.
Hello, everybody.
Take it away. Take it away, Kim.
Well, hello, everybody. I couldn't think of a better way than to spend my 49th birthday with you guys and going for the ever popular Eduprotocol SmackDown with my partner in crime, Dr. Valerie Sun. Valerie, take it away.
Whoop, whoop. All right, everybody, we're going to just give Kim a quick shout out of a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday, Kim.
It was
and,
great.
Woo, woo. Happy birthday.
and I do have to say it is my older sister's birthday today too, and she's hitting that 40 mark as well. So shout out to my sister and happy birthday to her.
What's this?
Yeah. But here we are tonight when Kim was like, hey, Val, you want to do a little SmackDown for my birthday? I'm like, yes, of course, because this is one of our favorite things. I think this is one of my favorite things to do right now. I don't know about you, Kim.
Oh, I love it because it's like totally not scripted, but I know exactly like I have the tools, so I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's start the SmackDown. Let's go over some rules and all that stuff. So, John, if you would let me share my screen. Here is our SmackDown. All right. If you want to contact us because you want more information, Kim's info's on there. My info's on there as well. And you're like, exactly what is this, Valerie? Well, just want to let you know that this SmackDown has been approved for appropriate audiences by the League of Tech Teacher Heroes. All you teachers out there are major tech teacher heroes right now teaching online, but it is rated PG because it is a SmackDown after all. And there may be some language used depending on, depending on how nice Kim's been being. I don't know, depending how rough of a day I've had. I'm going to say cheersies to Kim right now with my glass of wine. But just know that this is going to be some fast talking, rapid fire descriptions. You are not going to experience any of these Eduprotocols. It's not a slow paced thing. This is like rapid fire, boom, boom, boom kind of deal.
Like
all
as
right?
fast as their brains are popping.
Yes. All right. So disclaimer, it is a rapid fire. If you want to tweet at us, if you want to tweet this out because you're super duper excited, hashtag EP SmackDown is our hashtag for the evening or for this event. And like I said, it's a quick explanation, but templates will be provided for you. And if you want to follow along on the slide deck, you could definitely do bit.ly/EP SmackDown 3. Because
I just put the link in the, John has it on our feed and I just put it in the Facebook group anyway. So
exactly.
I'm feeling super accomplished right now. The chat is on point.
Super, you're a professional.
Yeah.
I just push the buttons.
Do you do this all the time? Do you do this all the time, John?
I push buttons full time. Yes. Sometimes sixth graders buttons, sometimes my wife, but it's all button pushing. Look, I just pushed the button again.
It's all good. Buttons are cool, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you got the disclaimer. Follow us on that slide deck if you want to see us live putting it in. Okay. And Kim, you want to tell these people, tell Twitter world, Facebook world, everybody world who you are?
Aside from being freshly 49 years old, I have been an educator for 27 years. And I'm currently teaching 6th grade at a virtual school in our district that we just started up due to hashtag COVID. And I'm a part-time faculty member at Hope International University. I teach an online course, Teachers in Technology, shocking. I have been the Q Bold director and I'm a Q lead learner. And I got all sorts of certifications all over the place, including most recently my ISTE certification. So, and you, Val, tell us about you.
So this is my 15th year in education. Dual immersion, French and Mandarin is totally my jam. I am a recent teacher specialist at Glendale Unified, where I work.
I heard about that.
Teachers. And yeah, it's been super duper fun. So I am totally enjoying my job. I work with an amazing team of people, even though we're down in the basement and we don't see the light of day at all. Like I walk in and then we come back out. Yeah. But anyway, I'm a part-time faculty at Cal State LA, where I teach doctoral students about ed tech and the research behind ed tech and some of the history of ed tech. I'm also a teacher mentor, and I train teachers with the California World Languages Project, and that brings in a little bit of my dual immersion stuff. I'm proud to be a QBOLD faculty and lead learner, and got my Google certifications levels 1 and 2, which is always something cool and good to have. So this is how this evening is gonna roll. Audience, you've got 1 minute to throw in an idea in a word cloud. We are using Answer Garden today, okay? Kim and Val, we each are going to have 2 minutes to explain an Eduprotocol that would teach that lesson. So that's going to be based on the word, the most popular word in that word cloud. John is going to be our timer. So he's going to be timing the 1 minute for you to enter in all your words. And then we're going to pick one. And then Kim and Val, we switch off being first or second. And we each have 2 minutes. And then we each have 1 minute to rebut. And then at the end, after those 5 minutes have passed, you, the audience, through your chatting, get to choose a preferred Eduprotocol you want to use. And just, you know, sometimes mine is better. Sometimes Kim's is better. Sometimes a combo of our two together that is better. I don't know.
And I have a feeling we might be +1 tonight often by Mr. JC right there. I have a feeling that he's going to have some information in there.
In honor of your birthday, Kim, I'm going to try to be one word restraint, but
no,
I will probably fail.
I love the +1s.
Yeah,
okay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Thanks for letting me play along, because I'm just a lowly edgy ref tonight.
No,
no, never, ever. All right. So here's how it's going to roll. Our round 1 is going to be on reading. Round 2 is on math. Round 3 is on writing. Round 4, vocabulary development. And round 5, social studies. So start thinking about the lessons that you kind of want to cover that you're going to teach. Okay? Because we're going to head into round 1 right now.
And I put the answer garden
link. It's up there, right there.
And it's in the chat, so you should be able to just click on that and give us some info on a reading lesson you have coming up, or a topic that is difficult to teach in distance learning. Something more specific than, you know, like reading comprehension or something, like get to the nitty gritty. And hopefully you'll have an idea. Or we're going to be filling John's plan book for next week.
That's the reason I'm here, really.
You're right. Earlier this year, while we're waiting for this, John hit up Marlena and myself, and he's like, hey, let's do these smart starts and do the whole first week of school. And Marlena and I are like, yeah. And then she and I had a little sidebar conversation and realized that we just planned John's whole first week of school.
Well,
but you know,
not just John's. You also help like.
Well, there were 49,000 other people, so.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But it was fun. We're like, hey,
a whole lot of other people. I am hitting refresh on this thing, and I don't hear.
I know, me too.
I don't think Andrea Earl knows how the interwebs works yet. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Andrea. Yeah, she's in there. She's in there.
I know.
We need some words in the answer garden.
Please.
Yes,
at this point, go ahead and like put them in the chat. Even we'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to plan my next week of language arts. Or a lesson that Val has to model. So give us something for your language art, your reading instruction for next week, please.
Yeah, I mean, I am totally down to model anything you want. I mean,
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Suffixes.
Okay.
Point of view. Prefixes and suffixes is kind of winning. Just saying.
All right.
It's in first place.
It is.
It is in first place. I am like clicking refresh, and John, has it been a minute already? I feel like it's been more than a minute, right?
Well, the crowd is getting warmed up, so let's give them a chance to get oriented. We got 21 people watching.
Oh, Andrea
Let's give
says
them just a little more time on this first rep. One thing
I don't. Let's see.
How do you put the link in YouTube?
I can do that. I can do that. Hold on.
This is cool.
Okay.
Here we go. Here's the link on YouTube.
Okay.
Hold on. 154
Hi,
1374.
Thank you, Blanca. And thank you to all of you with your happy birthday messages. I've been seeing all of that. My family thinks I'm totally weird for wanting to spend my birthday talking about Eduprotocols, but
Are they educators, Kim?
no. They are not.
They just don't understand. So
They do not
that's just
understand.
as easy as that is. All right.
I might have to say that some of my teaching friends were a little surprised too, but that's okay.
This is kind of our love, right?
I know. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, do we have more?
Yes. Refresh that baby.
Oh, hey, character development.
See, like I said, you guys, folks just need a little time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Blanca. This is live, baby. This is live.
Yeah, this is totally live. So we're just waiting for your responses.
We live in the
Hey,
ether.
character development and comprehension. Character development. Ooh. Are you going first, Kim, or am I going first?
I go first.
You go first.
I go first.
Oh, shoot. I think I know what you're going to do.
I don't know if you do, because I'm going to use one that is not.
Wait, I got to say this. Blanca thought she was watching an old show. No, we're live. It's happening now.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Blanca.
No.
I'm glad that we have old shows that you could be watching. So.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So do you want to, hold on. Do we want to do character development or prefixes and suffixes? Because those are two different Eduprotocols.
Totally. I want to do character development because this is, to me, this is like the reading. I mean, I know you need prefixes and suffixes for reading, but I like the character development.
Yeah. I think character development it is.
Okay. So we're going to go for it. All right. So I am going to, and I'll put my links in there in just a moment, but I am, John, how much time do I have? 2 minutes?
Yeah, 4 hours.
2 minutes?
4 hours. I gave
4
you 4
hours.
hours. No, I think 2 minutes is a good round number. Let's go with 2 minutes.
I think that you're probably doing a better job than Mr. Eddie Campos. He was totally making numbers up for us. So
yeah,
Ed can be shy, and math is not one of his strengths.
Yes, so much love to
Ed.
Ed.
No,
but he didn't know he was supposed to be keeping time. He wasn't,
Oh yeah, okay. I think Kim is just stalling right now. I think this is a tactic. I'm blowing my whistle.
No,
okay, ready, Kim?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
2 minutes.
I will go with the unpublished Eduprotocol called Lit Circles Plus that Mr. John Carippo and I revamped this summer to bring back some fresh life into it. And you get to know it's like lit circles, but better, because the lit circles you have been doing in your class probably are focusing maybe more on the artsy surface level type of stuff. And we get to go deeper with these 4 parts of the Eduprotocols or the lit circles. So we focus on character, where we look at the characters' physical features, actions, words, things that they say. And through that, we also look at the conflict in the story. And okay, I'm good. We look at the conflict in the story, and we look at the 4 or 5 different types of conflict, where there could be character versus character, character versus society, character versus nature. We even summarize the story with the somebody wanted to, but so then John, your whole don't show me the time.
Am I messing you up?
Yeah. And then we also, now I can't remember what's the last one. Oh, the 3
I got it on pause. I'm giving you an extra
have.
5 seconds because I was
The
distracted.
the 3 wishes a character would have, because we have to look at the motives and the why behind what the character would want. So there, I'm done. I'm good. Lit Circles Plus.
And I'd like to point out, Valerie, Birthday Girl was done 38 seconds early. Just saying. Just saying.
All right.
A good answer. Left it all on the table.
Well, here, in terms of character development, I totally dig Frayer Friend, because when you're Frayer, or just a Frayer model in general, right? You've got your 4 boxes. I got the template right over there for you, so click on it, make a copy. And how it's used, what you have your character in the middle. I mean, you practice with your students first, so then you kind of talk about your own students' characters, what they like, what they dislike, what's their like dream animal, right? And with all of this, you gotta with character development, you want to really you get to know the character. You want to have the students really critically think about what the character would like and what they wouldn't like. And with each of these things that you write down, you need the students need to provide evidence from the text as to like, why would they say that Jesse in British is afraid of, is a great runner, right? Maybe you're like showing all these things, like why did he find Leslie to be a threat, but then, became like her very best friend, right? Or let her become his very best friend. So you have all of these ideas and evidence. You can't just make this stuff up. But then the best part is then they share it with their friends. And then they get to talk about it together. So there is that sharing portion, because what I find to be his favorite food or favorite, or, something that he would not like may be something different from what my students think or from what another person thinks. So we would definitely totally understand character development and understand who the character is when we are able to Frayer our friend.
I love it. And then your friend could be a character in a book, so it's portable, right? It's very cool.
Yes.
Very nice. Okay. And I really like the idea of what you said too, Valerie, about 3 or 4 people might have 3 or 4 answers for the same character, and that divergent opinion of what's going on really helps with comprehension in such a way that a scantron that says what is the theme is never going to get that done, right?
Right.
All righty.
So, Kim, you got a minute to rebut.
Look at that. Okay. Facebook user says, students chatting is one of my friends.
Yes.
Yes.
So
hey, Kim, here we go. 1 minute, Kim.
My 1 minute rebuttal. What I like about Lit Circles Plus is that I can use it with commercials to get real quick little look at those 4 elements of character and building up stories. And I trained it with a commercial called Be More Dog, and it was so much fun, and the kids like ate it up. And then we applied it the next week to a short story. And then the next thing I'm going to be doing is applying it to them as they build their short story. As they start writing a narrative, they're going to use that same type of plan. So now I've got the reading intertwined with the writing. And so I think I totally agree that Frayer model is great for the character development as well. And I think all of these are functional pieces that work super well together. So super awesome. And that's all the time I need, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that is all the time you need.
All right, and look at that, right on the button. And Kim, because of your special needs, I was careful to not show the timer and distract you.
Thank you. Thank you for UDLing that for me.
There you go. There you go.
So,
now here's a one quote. I want a follow-up question from the audience. If you look at chat, do you do several Frayer models for one character?
That's a really good question. I actually don't do one for anyone. Do you see? Oh, you see this one right over here, right? So this is one for your classmate. This is the one for the beginning of the year, right? And your classmate could technically, in this case, we'll just switch the name out to be, the name of the character. What I generally like to do is, though, my students stick with these 4 questions until I know that they really know how to use these questions and how to find evidence for these. And then I switch these questions out one at a time. So in terms of cognitive load, they're not processing new things every single time with a new sheet. I'm not asking them 4 different questions every single time they see this Frayer form. They get used to the 4. They know exactly what they have to do. They know how they have to think, kind of, depending on the character, right? And then I switch one question out when I know that they are ready. And it's
that's super Eduprotocols, right? Because you're going to do the same work on a different input. So you know how to answer, and all of your cognitive load is going into what's new, what's different, what's unique, which instead of starting from scratch every time.
Yes. So for the question,
and I liked the question. There was one person in the chat that said you could be used over and over again to show how the character changes over time, which is another one. Is I think, Kim, were you talking about this? That there were round characters, and then that a round character evolved, right? So in a really good book, you might have a character who starts off being seen as bad or curmudgeonly. I'm thinking of Scrooge, classic story, right? And the character changes their perspective. And for kids to be able to process that, I think is a really, really beneficial thing. So having them do a Frayer a couple times is totally acceptable.
Or even,
and the funny part is the kids will be like, oh, I know this one. It's going to take a minute. What's the bad part?
Well, even I keep that Frayer, and then as they like annotate over what they already wrote, or as they get to know the character, or to kind of do every couple chapters, if it's in a novel, check in. So yeah, I think that's great.
And yes, the
you see
person
that comment?
who says, can you put them together in a Google slide? Yeah, you totally can. So that they get to actually see the characters develop over time, right? So I do have to call it here. I think I may have the better one, Kim. I don't know. I even showed them an example.
Well, you are in control of the screen. I am not. So there's that.
Well,
I mean, my
since
family
you may or may not have been enjoying certain beverages on your birthday, we're doing it for your own protection. So we're like a designated presenter. It's like it's like a DP.
My family said that I'm a control freak, and now I know why Valerie wanted to control this thing. But that's okay. That's okay. We could use the Frayer to get started, but then when you really want to see your kids take off, that's when you go into Lit Circles Plus. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a good point.
That is a good point. So Facebook users, YouTube users, go right ahead in the chat right now. Would you rather use Frayer Friend or Lit Circle Plus? Go ahead and take a vote.
And even though it says Facebook user, see who's really voting for mine. But that's okay.
Oh.
She is the queen, ladies and gentlemen. She is the queen.
Oh, my tiara's at work, man.
Oh.
I do see y'all commenting. Okay.
So I've got the Answer Garden link up there for
math.
For math. And the trick is it's answergarden.ch. That threw me off. Com was throwing me off. I was thinking com. Yeah. CH, which I believe makes it a Swiss website because CH is Confederation of Helsinki. It's a long story. Yeah, it's a long story.
Yeah, it is a Swiss site. Can both be true? Yeah, like we said earlier, sometimes my idea is better. Sometimes Kim's idea is better.
Well, and as your EduRef, I think I can split that really well, which is I've seen teachers when they do lit circles, to Kim's point, they do the same lit circle about 5 or 6 times and the kids get really bored and tired of it. And so this is one of the great things about protocols is you can switch it up, right? So it's almost like we're having breakfast for dinner. Almost everybody likes that, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, pancakes for dinner. This is awesome. They're just pancakes. So that change up keeps it fresh. So you could go along doing Lit Circles Plus for 2 or 3 weeks and then do 3 Frayers of a friend and do total switch up and then bring them back to a lit circle with a slightly different variation. And just like a good chef, you're keeping it fresh because you don't want to just go to that well too many times or it turns into drudgery. And that sweet freshness is really cool.
Yeah. And Andrea, you are awesome. Yeah. You are Switzerland right now. We're just like, oh, we're gonna give you one and then go on for the other.
What I have come up with is the fact that in the end, it doesn't matter if she wins or I win because you and your students are winning with using the Eduprotocols. So
you're not supposed to say that yet.
It's my birthday. I can say what I want.
Yes.
So we'll do this on your birthday and then you can say what you want.
That is very true. I think it is time to move on to the next one, to round 2.
And math is filling in very nicely.
We didn't declare a winner. Who was the winner? What?
I'm gonna, as the EduRef, I'm gonna make the decision that as long as you're providing variety and feedback, all the students are winners on that round. I don't know that there was a clear winner.
Okay.
I believe I will have the audience's support on this as well. If I need to make a further justification, with Valerie's model of Frayer friend and sliding ever so gently through commercials into books, that's a great way to start up your year or your unit. And then here comes Kim with a double whammy of lit circles plus once they're sophisticated enough. There's no bad part there. And Dawn says, no, Kim doesn't need her tiara. She's still the queen. So
well, there you go.
I'll be princess any day. You be queen, I'll be princess. I don't mind.
Okay. That's all right.
All right. For math, we got word problems. Word problems. Ooh, I'm going first on this one, huh?
Yes, you are. It's all you, babe.
Oh, man. I got to think about this. All right. Word problems. For word problems, for an Eduprotocol for word problems. I'm like, huh. Kim, you want to go first on this one?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. All right, I'll let you think.
I believe Valerie said, I want to go first. I believe she said that.
It's your turn, honey.
It is my turn. You know what? For word problems, I really have to think about this.
I'll go first.
I mean,
I'll go
feel
first.
like there are different ways. You know what? I think we can use, this is like the dead giveaway. I think this is the one where you complain, where you say, I always go first for this one.
No, it's okay.
You always take the same one.
No, it's okay. Because I got a backup plan.
You got a backup plan?
Yeah. So if you want me to go first, I will go first.
No, it's okay.
All right.
I think for word problems in terms of Eduprotocols, you would want to break down the problem for them because they need to know which words mean what in that context. Kim, you go first.
Okay, you guys, this is a very important announcement from Vanessa Heller. She's tardy because she had a jacuzzi. So I'm just letting you know. Vanessa's definitely,
she couldn't find us.
She's definitely in the spirit of the show.
What was the story there? Okay. So my fix for word problems is going to be sketch and tell.
Okay.
I'm going to use sketch and tell. And there's actually even a sketch and tell with graph paper in the sketch part of it to make it easier for the students to work out the problem. But I'm thinking that they could they could read the problem and start to draw a picture about how they might solve it. Before they get to the part where they're solving, though, they talk with a partner and tell with each other, tell how you're going to solve it. And then they go ahead and solve it. And they can do so they've done the telling part, but then they can also, over on that tell side, on the right-hand side, they could also write down their steps they took to solve it, or include the information on what was the key facts and details, all that kind of stuff. So I think that the sketch and tell would be a great one to use for problem solving.
All right. Since I took a little bit of time and thinking for that, for this one, I would go for Math 360. And Math 360, if y'all know Ed Campos, he is a huge, huge fan of that, where he's just got like whiteboards galore everywhere, right? You would read the question out to your students, and then they get to show their work all around. They're like standing up, they're around the classroom, they're writing down their answers, or maybe they're writing it on their desks, maybe they're writing it on a Jamboard, maybe they're writing it somewhere where it could be shown to everybody. And then they get to think about, like, each student get to solve the math problem in their own way, and then they get to talk about it and talk it out. Like, I would maybe select, like, while they're working it out distance learning wise, I would be like jumping through their Jamboards, right, to see who's writing down what, and then highlight a few students to have them share their thoughts. So then you have that math talk going, so you can really hit those SMPs, the standards of mathematical practices, to, like, you know, are you attending to precision, right? Are you writing it down? Are you representing it? Are you properly representing it? Maybe probably using sketch and tell, like what Kim is saying as well. And then the students get to go on this little gallery walk to see how other people have solved this math problem. So there you go, Math 360. That took a long time for me to think of, but
can I jump in?
Go for it.
Is that allowed? It's been interesting to watch you guys and just listen for once. Why didn't anybody say 3-act math? 3 acts. That's perfect for word problems.
They are.
There's nothing better for the Smarter Balance test, because if you've looked at the performance task for 4th grade terrify me. And the only way that I'm going to be able to get there is I've got to practice being in that place and working the problem. And you're not going to be able to work that problem most of the time from anything that publishers are giving us. So my favorite 3 acts are from Kyle Pierce and from Graham Fletcher, G. Fletchy. But you're literally putting kids in a place where the outcome is vague and they have to work through it. Valerie, I loved what you said with Math 360 in terms of, and I think you know this too, but for folks that may not know, the in like Facebook land where, people are doing lots of coding for their work, Facebook, Google, those kind of places, they do a thing called code review. And so they put the code up and the whole team is like, that looks good, but line 40, I can make that line 10 items shorter, which will mean your program will run faster. Code review, I think, is an interesting concept to bring to our math class. So like, not just did you solve it, but did you realize you could do this and get it done either more efficiently or more safely in my case, right? Because I'm always terrified that I go on these whole runs and I'm like, I'm not even sure if I'm going the right direction. So that would be 3-act for Smarter Balance performance task stuff. There's nothing better, in my opinion.
That is very true. I don't know why I didn't think of 3-act math. I guess I was really stuck on the idea of like a word problem, but 3-act maths can definitely be written as word problems. And I use that all the time too. It's okay. All good. So
time is up.
Put your vote in if you would. We didn't rebut. Do we need to rebut?
I think that John kind of just wiped us both out, is how I was feeling.
Yes.
Not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way.
Plus one us and just gave 3 really awesome ideas.
Just a very natural flow. But isn't it great? This is what I like about the Eduprotocols like lifestyle, is that if we were in a teacher's lounge right now, this would be right what's happening. And guess what we did not say? Oh, have you tried Houghton Mifflin's version? Yeah. Did you try Engage New York's version? We're not looking at brands. We're looking at pedagogies. That to me is the subtlety. And I just gave Houghton Mifflin a shout out, and I don't mean in a good or bad way. I'm just saying it's the difference between saying, do you want McDonald's or Wendy's? And what you really want is a really good hamburger. And if you only ask about the brand of hamburger, you may not end up where you want to be. And so that's, I think, one of the beauties of the Eduprotocols perspective is that you look at what's the best attack for the problem, not what's the best label or brand. Okay, so we're moving into writing, round 3. Moving into writing. Look, I just got tagged. 1-upper. Yeah, okay. How do we block that person? I have a block.
No, I think that was meant in a really positive way.
Yeah. It was Chris Flores. Chris
guy. Of course.
Chris. That Chris. Go for it. Oh, we have pure editing.
You report to the principal's office, Christopher.
Ooh.
Okay. I've got it in the chat there. So the link for we're moving on to writing. Ooh, this should be rich. I think you guys are both loaded for this.
Yeah.
So we're not bound by time, right?
Space, really.
Or space. I don't know why I kept thinking, I'm like, we got to be on a time thing because we have an hour, but
we've been imbibing. We're on our own time. Yeah. Nobody's paying us. There's no sponsor. I'll stay here as long as Andrea and Vanessa are hanging around.
So last time we were somehow talking about cows, and then Vanessa was our moderator, and she was like, "Okay, girl, let's
get it back. Let's bring it on back. Let's bring it on back."
And I was like, Vanessa, that's like my favorite thing you said.
You're editing. Maybe we only have one person watching us, and that's why there's only one suggestion.
No, they're so stunned by your amazing gifts that they just want to watch in awe.
They got to give us something to talk about.
I'm popular.
All right.
We wanna be popular. No
What song
one.
is that?
It's from Wicked.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. So
Oh, it's called Popular.
it makes sense. It
I
all has come together right there.
I just use my really nasally Kristen Channel words.
But Blanca, they have to write about stuff in science. They're still writing in science.
CER? What is
Across
CER?
all content areas.
Oh, I agree. Peer editing. Okay. I guess peer editing is it.
All right.
Avenue Q.
You're
Oh, wait a
going
minute.
first.
We got more. Oh, we got a lot of CER, claims evidence reasoning,
What's
popped in.
Oh.
Claims
Claim
evidence
evidence.
reasoning, which is a good one. And Valerie, you already referred to this idea that you can't just say stuff. You have to give me
No,
some
you always have to have
for evidence.
evidence. People don't like to provide evidence. I think whoever put CR writing is just like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
We could have a sixth grader in here just absolutely spamming us right now.
True.
Like, and if it's a sixth grader spamming us, go use sixth grader for like
That's true.
Here
That's true.
and bringing this idea back to your teacher.
Oh,
So,
persuasive.
props
Just
to
the lead.
We're getting a variety, but CER is still pounding. Well, persuasive is making a run.
Yeah.
But CER goes with that too, anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would go. Are we ready, Kim?
It's your call. You go
My
first.
call?
Oh,
All right.
you go first, I think.
You go first in this one, but since you went first for the last one,
Yeah.
I'll go first for this one. How about that?
Okay, you go for it.
For claims evidence reasoning, I would say let's go for some mini reports because mini reports is pretty awesome in the sense
That's a big swing right there.
you totally have to, like when you're writing a mini report, and we call it a mini report because it's mini, right? You're not writing this big gigantic thing. You're looking at one or two articles that that your teacher has, that you are providing for your students, so you know exactly what is on those pages. And so when they are writing, well, one, whatever material it is that they're reading, you know that it is scaffolded because you as a teacher have chosen materials that is aligned to your students' reading level. And if it's not aligned to their reading level, but you're using Newsella, then, students really get to do read at their levels, right? And you get to focus on just one aspect of grading. So if you're just looking at claims that they're making from the article, then you know exactly, the information that they are taking it from, because you're not asking your students to actually do that to go on the interwebs and search for themselves. You're asking them to take out the information that you have provided them from the one or two separate articles that you have provided them. And because it is separated into various columns, I'm going to show this to you right over here. They have the idea, they're going to be, this one is on George Washington, right? They're going to be providing information that they've read about George Washington's early life, about his presidency, and then about his legacy. So when they're writing it down, they are directly taking quotes from each of these portions, and they're writing down the ideas. So then anything that they're writing has to have that evidence there. They can't just say that, George Washington cut down some apple tree because he cut down a cherry tree, So it's like
My favorite one is you can't just say he's on a dollar bill if that's not in the text. You can't just say that.
Exactly. So it's like, where is your evidence? Where is your proof? And the documents that you give them, it's like from Mount Vernon, from history.com, or maybe you have some really awesome primary source that you are showing them, right? And you as a teacher are in control. Your kiddos aren't out searching on the dark webs for this. So mini report.
And time. Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Birthday Girl.
Well, I I was all gearing up to go bukakucha on this, but then I thought about debate it.
Ooh, debate it doesn't get a lot of airtime.
I know. But what I like about bukakucha is that I can use it for narrative or fiction, narrative or expository text, so that if I'm having my students do a response to literature and they need to find claim evidence and claim evidence and I lost it. Response.
Reasoning. Sorry.
Reason. Claim evidence and reason. I can practice that daily with bukakucha, and it can be with their own book that they're reading, where they're finding quotes and answering questions. And then when we apply that in class, it works out really well when I try to write that response to literature, which is that explanatory writing about the narrative reading that I just did. So I think it is a nice practice of the skill in a daily, quick way. And the students get to present that evidence as well in a nice, quick way. And then I can use all those as base skills as I get ready for my writing activities. So I'm going to stick with bukakucha because I think I only have like 30 seconds left. And
32, you're right on it.
And I think it's a great one because the kids have to make that claim and answer that question and then go find that piece that supports it. And if we get them into that, hopefully they'll be cross-checking references when they are out there on the social media. So there you go.
I would like to say congratulations to both of you, because I think you've made two wildly opposite but equally powerful impacts. And one of them is doing bukakucha. Kim, if you do it twice a week for 20 weeks, they're going to get really good at this, right? Yep. And so when your sixth graders go to seventh grade and they're asked for claims, evidence, reasoning, they're like, bam, which means middle school's easier, which helps their SESL slide right into high school, right? So that's super powerful, but it's just really like Scooby Snacks every day with immediate feedback every day and almost no prep for you almost every day. And what Val's got with Mini Report, which is one of the second oldest of all the protocols, it was right in there with 8 parts, which is, why take 3 weeks to do a report, you guys? Why are we going to wait 2.9 weeks for kids to get a library book? Like, you're just dead air. And so with Mini Report, like what you said, Val, that I think is magical, is we give kids 2 resources. So there's no Googling. These are the resources. I just did a mini report yesterday. And it's great because if you think like a scientist, you can see how good and bad the whole class is at the whole process on an immediate basis. And Kim, you'd have loved it. When I did mini report yesterday, I told the kids the hidden stealth name on this is report that don't hurt. And they were a little suspicious at first. They were report. You just said report. This is going to be bad. And then we did it. And like Seth is my front row guy. And Seth's like, dude, that was crazy easy. And I go, and we guess what we covered? We covered Mary Leakey, because everybody does Louis Leakey. We covered his wife, who actually had more fossil hunting awards than the dude, but in a man-centric world, who comes first? The husband. So I said, forget that. You look in your history book, it says Louis Leakey. Forget that. We're going to learn about Mary Leakey. And so we went and we learned a bunch of facts, like that her dad died when she was a young age, that there was actually a British postage stamp made after her 13 years after her death. We did all those little notes together. It was safe. And when we're done, right? Everybody was done. Nobody had lost their 4x6 cards. And next week we're going to do it again, and it'll go a little faster and they'll be a little less afraid. And somewhere around the 9th or 10th rep, I'll start talking about parentheticals. And by May, they'll be clipping right along. And when my 6th graders hit 7th grade, they'll be able to paraphrase too. And that's probably the biggest gift I'm going to give these guys this year, because for whatever reason, this crew that I've got, they cannot paraphrase. They can either write or they can copy paste, but they have no idea what paraphrasing is.
Well, the really cool part that I like about mini reports is for my middle schoolers that I was teaching. So I had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all together. They were kind of like all mixed in my STEM project-based learning class, right? We really got to work on citation skills, because I was like, ladies and gents, listen, you got 2 choices. You can either, 1, make your life really easy and start paraphrasing when you are putting things in the boxes that I gave you, or you can just put quotation marks around what you are copying pasting. I was like, whatever it is that you do, I don't mind. But if I was like, it's easier when you put quotation marks around things that you're just copying pasting. So then when you're writing that paragraph, you can take the ideas and then you can either quote it and then say which article you got it from. And at first it was just like, quotation marks article 1, right? Quotation marks article 2, until I taught them how to actually cite. And then it just became citation. So then I was able to implement and integrate all of that into this mini report. And I had one kiddo, he was really, really hard.
And it's very scaffolded and it's very bite-sized.
Yeah. So it's just, even the kiddos who have a hard time at first, and in terms of writing, they were just like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Well, I'm getting ready to do a DBQ coming up on Egypt, and I'm thinking on the back of a document or on the back of the 8 parts with the DBQ, having them write claim, evidence, reasoning, like 3 columns, and then what claim can you make from that primary source? That is the piece of evidence, and then your reason for it. So I think that you could even then extend that with DBQs. It could be across content areas very easily.
Mm-hmm. And then in this COVID-invested world, you don't have to stop teaching language arts to start teaching history or science. Right. It's one thing. Yeah. And just for fun, I do a double down. I tell the kids, you're going to get a grade for your writing, and then you're going to get a grade for how well you do on the content. I'm giving 2 grades from 1 assignment. That really cuts my grading load, folks. I guarantee it cuts my planning load in 50%. Yeah. But it also, and then the kids are not dumb. They're like, so you're giving me 2 grades for one thing? I'll try a little harder. So there's just all these wins there. There's all these wins.
And I think that's the thing about distance learning, right? Like I modeled a lesson for some French kiddos today, for 1st graders, and they wanted just a fun game. And I was like, listen, you don't ever just play fun games without some academic content in Val's world.
Right.
That just
we don't have
happen,
that.
Right?
You don't do cool math games, right?
No, never cool math games. So it was a scavenger hunt, but with all the R sounds that we, because they're learning the letter R, right? And how, like, where R is. So it was a scavenger hunt with R's, but guess what? It was like, does the R sound appear in the first syllable, in the second syllable, or the last syllable? And then some of the kiddos are like, well, in the second syllable, it could be the last syllable if there are only 2 syllables in the word. And I'm like, smart kiddo. But yes, you are right. So, there's like, you can totally blend things together. There's no longer this delineation of this is math time, this is English time, this is science time. It can all blend together.
That's my favorite question. The kid is working and he goes, is this language arts or science? If they can't tell, I'm happy camp. I love that.
All right. So we've got vocabulary development right here. So put your answers in. Ooh, vocabulary for ELs, synonyms, genuine practice, definitions.
Ooh, I don't even know the term genuine practice. Whoever put that in, tell me more.
Is it like authentic use of the words and not just like something you read?
I mean, I can infer, but I'm not sure. And I don't know if you guys saw this one. I forgot I wasn't alone when Val said mini report. I literally whooped like I was at a concert and startled David.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Never ever happens with workbooks. Ever. Never. No. You'll never hear that response to workbooks.
No. And Jenna, you are awesome for putting that.
Oh, well, and Jenna can whoop. She can really whoop.
Can
I've heard her do it. She can whoop.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like we kind of got a tie for everything. Everybody wants the same things: antonyms, synonyms. Are we gonna?
I'm cheating right now, but that looks like a Frayer model. Like, what if you could do all those in one activity? I love this too. I'm interrupting now, but I love the idea that I don't stop teaching antonyms to teach synonyms. Like, and when you teach antonyms and synonyms at the same time, now you're just teaching really affixes, and so all these clusters start happening. once kids realize that you just change the front of a word by adding DE or RE, you've now inverted its meaning. Once they get that, oh, it's on.
All right, Valerie, you going first?
I am going first.
All right.
All right.
Oh.
So my favorite thing here for, what any of these things that you have put down, either it's vocabulary development, wrong one. Either it's vocabulary development, synonyms, genuine practice, antonyms, definitions, whatever it is, Thin Slides is like your go-to baby. I love Thin Slides simply because it literally is one picture and one word, right? And sometimes you do get the kiddos who are like, oh my gosh, I could put 2 pictures in here because you know why? I can put a background picture and then I could put a picture in the foreground. And I'm like, you go, kid. You somehow snuck in 2 pictures and you know what? More power to you, right? Or we get the kiddos who are like, oh, I got all these ways of putting in pictures and I could put in all 3 pictures. But the nice part about Thin Slides is in terms of vocabulary development, you, as a world languages teacher, I could be like, I am teaching this whole entire unit on parts of the house, right? Or like parts of like a living space, Right. And it's the kiddos who are constructing my vocabulary deck for me. I am no longer the one spending hours creating this perfect vocabulary deck with words that the kids don't care about at all, Instead, these are like words that are like, it's got, if it's on clothing, it's not the clothing that they want to wear that is hip at the moment. It's not like me with like the bell bottoms that I randomly choose or some like random skirt that I choose. It's what they like and it's unique to every single period. And they get to share why they chose the word. And me, for Thin Slides in my world languages classes, I give them the sentence frame to say like, my word is blank, or I chose the word blank is blank. And it totally develops their language for them in, when we're talking about vocabulary development and language development, right? And in terms of preparation, it's literally a blank slide for me. I generally have a sample slide for them though, so they could see what it is that I'm looking for. And my hack for this is I run my classrooms by their class numbers. So on the roster number, if they're number 1, no one ever takes slide 1. I'll come back to it. I'll tell y'all my hack later on. But Kim, you got it?
Yeah. Okay. So I actually Eduprotocol smashed a little bit here. Which we didn't say we couldn't do that, so I'm not breaking any rules. I'm going to use Fast and Curious with a Frayer follow-up. And so I give my Greek and Latin roots quiz on Monday. There's usually 3 roots that are related that we study. And most of the quizzes are already made on quizzes. So my prep time is 0. And because I'm in independent study school right now, and I need to use I have only 45 minutes online with my kids every day, they actually self-report their scores. And they take the quiz and put it on there. And I can see it on the reports, but they put it on their own little chart, and they chart their growth over the course of the week. And then they quiz on Friday, and my vocabulary quizzes are like huge. What I can do in the score growth is huge. What I can do in the meantime, though, is on a word that they keep struggling on. I have a couple kids that need to do a Frayer, and they Frayer that word. And so at the same time, they're they're getting the root, oftentimes with the Greek and Latin roots in there and learning more about that. And in the facts and characteristics of the word, I usually have them list out similar words so that they start seeing the relationships between words. And we can do, and I haven't been able to do it yet in distance learning, but I could have those stacked in a slide deck and almost like do a virtual gallery walk so that they're learning from each other, or they get the chance. They could even share their Frayer on a Flipgrid. And that could be their vocabulary practice that night. When you get ready for the quiz, go watch your friends' Frayers. So there's a lot of ways I can bring in then the vocabulary development, the verbal output of that, and the practice before the test. So it's kind of nice to pair those two together. Okay.
And Kim's literally right on time again. And then I took a variation of a character that I saw on Twitter, and we do Word Up Wednesday, and it's a competition to make the Frayers.
Oh.
So I just like the alliteration of Word Up Wednesday, but you
Yeah.
basically just make a Frayer with a couple more features, like add a meme or a GIF that you think brings that to life. And then my kids are like, and I got a class this year that's a little bit grumpy. Like they're fine, but they're like, they're like, you know, the old guys on the Muppet Show. They're all they got a little bit of that going. And I was like, how'd you guys like Word Up Wednesday? And they were like, that was actually that was not bad. That was kind of good. And I was like, that's all you got? It's not bad. I got to go to the copier and make some crosswords real quick, and I will help you understand how much better that was. So, but I love the Word Up Wednesday idea. So it's competitive Frayers.
Okay. Nice.
And yes, even my kiddos love Fast and Curious. So I usually blend in my thin slides after we've done our, we go through our vocab and whatnot. There's definitely a Fast and Curious in there in terms of vocabulary. But back to my hack about the thin slides. My students go by their numbers. So usually the first 3 slides are taken. So, person number 4, who is my number 4 in the classroom, they take slide 4. Person who's number 5, they take slide 5, right? And then so my numbers 1, 2, and 3, they just take the last 3 slides. So I always know who is not working on that slide. And, there's the whole hack, right? Where you click on the gallery view down here. So then you can see where everybody is working. So then you know exactly who is doing the work and who is not doing the work. And you got your slide built in like 5 minutes. It's quick and dirty.
Well, I'm going to do Kim's rebuttal. I'm going to do Kim's rebuttal for her.
Okay.
She did thin slides as a study guide. Think of that little tiny shift right there. Thin slide study guide. Okay. And it's what you're saying, Val. It's that you're living in that same zone of like, how many teachers have spent their Sunday making a PowerPoint for the study guide? Yep. And then stood in front of the kids and begged them to listen for 40 minutes. We all know that is a bad feeling. What about this? Thin slides. And Kim basically is a variation of yours, Val. She gives every kid a word, and they have to bring it to life with 1 slide and 1 picture. And so in 8 minutes-ish, you've got a study guide built by kids, and pretty much you just put the vocabs on the word. So that's slick. Kim, do you want to address Lisa's question there that's on from the chat question?
I have not seen that. I haven't seen any, but I also haven't been looking for them.
Well, I can say this. I don't see, other than the fact that it's 7th, 8th grade standard, I don't see any reason that the 2nd and 3rd graders can't do Latin roots. I see nothing. Most of the Latin roots are only 3 letters, for goodness sake. Yeah. And if you want to talk about double down, if you're teaching kids Latin roots at the same time you're teaching them blends and syllabication, it's a natural. And Lisa, I would add to that guess what? When I've got kids in 6th and 7th grade that can't read very well, I'm usually saving their butts by learning Latin roots. What if we could just save their butts right from the beginning? What about that? Yeah. So the one thing I might do if I was working with littles is, Kim, the pictures, the quizzes we are using don't have a lot of pictures. I might work in some more pictures. Yes. But 2 caveats to adding pictures. I loved what Mark Prensky said in about 2001. He said, it's okay to use pictures on tests. Make the question harder. Yes. Think about that for a second. Don't make the question easy with a picture. And so I like to use pictures that are like mnemonics or symbolics. They're not a direct thing. So it doesn't say picture of a cow. Yeah. Right? I might have something like a cowbell. I might have something like a barn with some of those milk jugs. I'm going to do a thing that's like a reference to them instead of just a straight answer. But I see no reason why 2nd and 3rd grade kids can't be learning Latin roots right off the get-go. And I believe it would improve their reading performance dramatically.
Totally. I absolutely agree with that, just because why not, right? I mean, why are we limiting our kiddos to what we are teaching them just because the standard says one thing or another? Like my kindergartners, for math, I'm like, hey, boys and girls, you know, like, let's make 6, right? This is 6. This is 6. I was like, you know what? I was like, when we all write it together like this, 5 + 1 and 1 + 5, I was like, that's communicative property. And so they learn the word for it, right? And why not?
Lisa, I would actually just go to quizzes, and if you type in, like, I don't know, uni, buy, and try. That's a pretty basic one for little guys that it is related to numbers, and it's not, you know, it can be pretty concrete. If you went in and typed in uni, buy, and try Greek and Latin, you would get probably 50 quizzes easily.
Yeah. So. And what you can do is, Kim and I have a list we might share with you if you were to email us. But if you just go on the internet and type in top 80 Latin and Greek roots, you'll see them right there. And then like what Kim and I typically do is we do 3 weeks. So I'm on bio, photo, and bio, photo, fill. So it's, you know, love of life. So bio, photo, fill, and pictures. And so you could have, like you said, Kim, you could have mono, bi, duo, and you're dealing with numbers, which is going to help with their numeracy in math. And you put them in those little trifectas with a couple of sample words, and you can roll through very nicely. I'm doing syllabication. I don't know if I've told you guys this one. I'm going to turn this into a protocol somehow, but here's how I do syllabication. And fun test for the teachers out there: SYZYGY. Pronounce it. SYZYGY. A lot of people can't. I had a great time. I put my kids in Nearpod this week, and I gave them that word, and I said, give me an audio answer. It was hilarious. Well, the reason people can't say SYZYGY is because they don't know what sometimes Y means. Because everybody knows AEIOU, sometimes Y, but nobody knows when, right? And when is when Y is next to a consonant, it's a vowel. And when Y is next to a vowel, it's a consonant. I explain it to my kids. It's like an ace. It can be a 1 or 11. And they're like, oh, okay. So syzygy is how you say that. Syzygy. It's an actual word. It's when the planets line up. Oh, pretty good. Swyzygy. And that I get that a lot is swy, and it's syzygy. S-I-G-I. I'll type it in there. S-I-Z-I-G S-I-Z-Y-G-Y. Syzygy. And it's when all the planets line up. You know, the planets that are doing their thing. And when they're all in one line, that's a syzygy. So what I've been doing is teaching that my 6th graders how to syllabicate better. And the way I do it is I get restaurant menus for Mexican restaurants. Chimichanga. That's some fun syllabicating, right? And I'll pick some words like that. And then we move on to Italian restaurant menus. And then we do German restaurant menus. There's a lot of consonants in German, bro. There is a lot. But if you can syllabicate it, you can pronounce it. You may have the wrong emphasis points, but you can pronounce it. So that's one of the things that I'm doing in conjunction with the Latin roots. And that's been really powerful. And here's a great example. If you have kids that write hopping or hoping or stopping or stoping, they don't get the double P, or they can't spell Hawaii because there's 2 I's at the end. That freaks them out. That's a double vowel sound right there. Hawaii, there's 2 I's. So did I get us off track? Are we okay?
No. Oh, good.
We good.
Okay.
20 turns into maybe +10, but it's all good.
Yeah.
All right. Is this our last round? I just want to make sure that I'm tracking.
Last round, and we're not. Remember, we don't have a time restraint here, right?
No.
Lisa said I wasn't even thinking quiz. I was slapping my forehead right now. So way to go. If we did nothing else tonight, we laughed and we helped Lisa. If we did nothing else.
Yes, and we made Jenna whoop.
Oh yeah. We scared her family.
Yes.
So I'm good with that.
Yes. So next we have social studies. And if you have social studies ideas, go ahead and toss it in the answer garden right over here. I'm going to close the other 2.
I put the link in the chat or in our live feed. So, but I'm not seeing anything, and I love social studies.
Dates and events.
Oh.
Dates and events. I got an idea.
Oh, famous people, primary sources. Do I go first this round?
You're the birthday girl. You decide.
You do whatever you want.
Go first.
You do go first, so you could totally go first.
Okay. Let's see.
Primary sources. Ooh, if it's primary sources, I know exactly what you're going to do, Kim. I think.
I am pretty predictable with the primary sources.
Yeah.
I don't. So this is exciting.
Oh,
CER is back. And that is interesting.
it is.
Validity and current events. Ooh.
That's sixth graders still.
Current events is winning. Current events.
Okay. We could do current events.
Hold on. Who's saying, all right, my loves, I enjoyed this so much?
Oh, let's see. Who is that?
I'm predicting that's Andrea Jenna.
No, it was Jenna.
Yeah.
Hi, Jenna. Thanks for hanging out with us.
For sure. Okay, we're going to do current events.
Yeah. I guess current events
looks like Wiener.
Okay, I'm going to do for current events, I'm going to do the cyber sandwich.
Ooh.
Because I think it would be a great way to have students working together and having that verbal rehearsal before writing, so that in a cyber sandwich, they are going to read the same article, the same current event. They're going to write down the pertinent information. It's probably, I mean, you could even specify on the cyber sandwich, you must have a direct quote, so you must cite some evidence or whatever, you could absolutely put that in there and give them a little bit of format on that, almost even like a Frayer on each side of the cyber sandwich circles. And then they're going to talk together. And I think it would be a great way to introduce, I use IVF statements, identify it, verb it, and finish it. So like in the article by so-and-so, Pluto is considered a planet or something, and then go ahead and summarize that current event. So I think it'd be a great way to have kids looking for the main idea and details, including some evidence, talking it out, and then they write. And then what you could even do is if students were, what am I at? Oh, okay. If students had different current events from multiple articles that day or that over the course of the week, they would be hearing, you could have students present and they could have information about multiple current events over the course of the week. So.
And I have one thing that's on fire in my brain with your last 15 seconds. You've ever had a class where you're saying, oh my gosh, this important event is happening, but I don't have time for the lesson plan. That is not going to be a problem with Cyber Sandwich. No. You can pivot.
Yep, that's right. All right. And for your littles, you can even do peanut butter and jelly.
PB&J?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Sunshine, are you ready?
I am so ready because
Here
what
she goes.
We're gonna number media because
yeah.
current events always have numbers, right? You pull your top 2 news
There are
articles,
certain numbers in the election right now, for example.
right? From your Newsweek, from CNN, from NPR, from Breitbart, from whatever article it is that you want your kiddos to read, right? And what they do, number mania, I realize though, is not for like the non-techie people because of the multiple.
It's an advanced. Yeah,
it is an advanced thing because what you need is you first find your like 1 or 2 articles. I usually like to have 2 because then there's like more numbers to work with. That has numbers. So you have your 2 articles, right? And then you create a Google form where you can collect that information from the students. So on the Google form, you would have like student name, the number, and what the number represents. And then you don't share the Google form with them, but then you share the results. So you share like the Google sheet with the students and giving them only view rights so that they could have like the compilation of all the numbers it is that they can see. And then you provide them with a slide template that has possibly icons that they could use already. So then your students aren't actually spending time looking for icons to match the ideas or what the numbers could represent. And then so they have these numbers, they have the facts of what these numbers represent, and they're able to pull what they are interested in onto this Google slide and make this not graphic organizer. What am I thinking of?
Infographic.
Infographic. There you go. They're making this infographic with everything that represents what is currently happening. So number mania is definitely one of my favorite things.
Okay. I'm going to do a thing real quick, Kim. So you just keep processing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a moment here and process what Valerie said, because I love number mania, but it's a fairly complicated protocol. So I just want to help for like
Yes.
Blanca. Like, do I have any examples? Can you bring up a visual, Valerie, while I'm doing this? I can. And Blanca, look at what Scott Petrie is doing and Adam Moeller. They've really pushed the limits on this, but basically think about it this way, Blanca. Why wait a week for kids to do the 30 items on their report when each kid could do one item in 3 minutes? Like, do I really need all 30 kids to get 30 facts? Because I don't. And why wait 2 weeks for facts to show up? Val's got a really nice graphic going. So basically, Blanca, it goes like this. I might give them a Wikipedia page on or donuts or the history of telescopes, whatever I want. Go get me some numbers, and the numbers can be dates, they can be birth dates, they can be statistics, they can be purchases, anything. And then what Valerie's showing there is basically these facts have come from a spreadsheet that was crowdsourced by a Google form, and then she had pre-positioned some noun project type of icons, and kids, all they have to do is drag them in and use the ones that they think are a good fit for the words. And it's super slick. And my favorite part that I saw Scott Petrie and Adam Moeller doing is they're doing this as an opening lesson, not as a culminating lesson. That's the other one that's cool. This is the hook. So getting kids deep into the content right off the get-go instead of waiting until the very end to do this as a 3-week-long infographic is now a 1-period hook to start up the lesson. It's super slick. Big shout out to my co-author, Marlena Hebern, who invented that one. It's so subtle, but it's so powerful.
You just need to have all of your separate parts together, and your kiddos need to, like, you know, they should know how to fill out a Google form. They should know how to like open up that Google sheet with the information. So those are just the complicated parts that you have to think about.
But it's more complex than Iron Chef. It's more complex than Cyber Sandwich because there's several moving parts for the teacher. They're not hard. You just got to be able to process 4 tabs in a way that if kid gets stuck, you can bail them out. Yeah.
And it really helps. I mean, even the young kiddos could do this.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have your, you know, you've got your parts, all of your parts, like your noun project icons are like on the side right here, right? So it's just outside. It's not in the slide itself. You know, it's just hanging out. So all they got to do is drag it in and easy.
So if we were doing one like on the American Revolution, I might have some soldiers. I might have a little cannon. I might have a little ship. I might have a map of the 13 colonies. I might have a little Capitol building. And I just have 10 or 12 little graphics like that. And they could just pull in the ones that tell the story. And that way they don't spend 3 hours getting the right graphic at the end.
Yes. Something that would help you with having multiple tabs open with that is you could embed your Google form on a Google site. And then right below the Google form, have it show the spreadsheet.
You could embed the spreadsheet too, right?
Yeah. So the spreadsheet.
So it's almost like a dashboard. Ding a ding a ding a, answers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's super smooth. But again, it takes a little more tech savvy. It's not hard. It's just not as basic as quizzes or as basic as thin slides. It takes a little more thinking, but it's really slick.
Yep.
And Andrea Earth says, best way I've ever used to teach infographics. And that's the cool crossover, right? So for our friend that's in 2nd grade, all kids need to do is type in or say a couple of facts and then drag in some pictures that match. For our AP teacher, you just take that and scale it up and you add citing your sources. That's what Scott Petrie's doing. He has his kids scour the internet for their own quotes and graphics, but then they have to do an annotated bibliography. So he just scaled the heck out of that thing. And it's kind of like mini report, Kim. It's like report that don't hurt, because guess what they're practicing? Annotated bibliographies. They're getting the key facts. They're summarizing, and they're having a good time because it's graphics. And like, oh, this is the easiest AP class I've ever had.
Right.
But think of who's doing the heavy lifting. Like, what I really love about the Eduprotocols, I mean, we're obviously all on board, is that it's not the teachers doing the heavy lifting of digesting these things.
Mm-hmm. It's just designing the experience and then stepping back.
Right. And I think over and over, like, of the number of teachers who are like, they're like, I digest and chew this for them. And then, like, even then they're still not interested.
On the mama bird throwing up in their mouth and they don't like it. How is that possible?
I've simplified it for them so much. Why would they not enjoy this? Don't. You know, make it so that they got to have this buy-in and the ownership of what it is that they're learning, right? And you are going to have some pushback from time to time, depending on what grade you teach. With the college students that I was teaching, even the teachers in the teacher preparation program, I had several who was like, Dr. Sen, listen, why are you
too hard? Why can't you just lecture?
Why can't you lecture? Can't you just, like, I just want to.
No, I'm lazy. That's why.
And I was like, nah, that's not the way I teach. Like, and I hope that that's not the way that you're going to teach, because your students need to be the ones doing the heavy lifting, because that's when you learn. And I think that it's important for them to be able to do that. I mean, if we do that, maybe we'll stop the whole multiple choice testing, right? Like, let's stop.
Imagine if you could do a number mania as part of your Smarter Balance assessment. I would argue that if you could open up a document and you had to paste in 8 numbers from a document and then cite your source and then build an infographic, I would argue 2 things. One is you couldn't do that unless you knew what to do. Second, if every kid in California was trained, every kid could do that, which means everybody could pass that Smarter Balance test, because you're not worrying about trickeration and hiding things and making them obtuse. How about just looking at a big block of text and identifying important numbers there and then citing your source? Those are things we need to be able to do every day. We don't need to be able to do multiple choices every day. We don't need to be able to, and look at Vanessa, that's called baby birding. And that's where we end up with kids who are disassociated with learning, because they think learning is just, the teacher telling them what to do and then filling out a worksheet. And that's just not going to get it done.
Nope.
I got the nicest compliment from some parents. The mom is actually a principal in another school district, and her other students have gone back. Her other children have gone back to the traditional sites where there's the hybrid model, where they're going for a couple hours a day. And her 6th grade son in my class wanted to stay because he's enjoying learning so much. And it's, my plan book is all Eduprotocols. So, those go hand in hand with his enjoyment of learning with the Eduprotocols. And it's just been such a rich way. And the transition from, face-to-face learning to distance learning, the Eduprotocols have transcended that, where they're working whether I'm face-to-face or distance. And it's a little bit slower with distance learning because I got to take it and do it a couple more times. And the learning takes a little bit longer, but we're still having a good time. And even though the job is insurmountable some days, it's not necessarily because of the planning time. That's for sure. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, though, is, this is part of the 50,000 foot view of why we started making these protocols, is in the end, if I can give you a chunk of text you've never seen at a high level, and you can read it, and you can comprehend it, and you can do a presentation on it 9 minutes from now, or make an infographic that Andrea Earl likes, or work with another partner to discuss the key elements and then ask questions. Like, if you can do that, you're done, man. You can go to any college in America. It just depends on how hard you want to work after that. And people are just not getting that experience from doing hundreds of worksheets with facts, because it doesn't lead to anything that's cohesive. It doesn't lead to anything that is portable. How about this, you guys? One of the things that cracked me up this year was when we started up the school year, I had all these kids telling me how much they liked Hatchet. I'm like, you're aware there are other books, right? Like, there are other books. but all they wanted to talk about was Hatchet. And I'm like, that's great. But like, and don't get me wrong, Hatchet's a classic, but there's way better books. Like, and that's not leading to a lot of diverse thoughts. I don't want all of our kids to think of Hatchet as 5th grade. Like, there's a bigger picture, and there are bigger ideas. And Mike Niehoff, my friend, he says we don't teach books, we teach skills, and that's a huge shift. And when kids are all pointing out one book, it's great that they like that. If you like Hatchet, I'm not talking you down, but I don't want kids leaving my class thinking that reading is 1984 and there's no other books. I don't want them to think that way.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. All right. So I think we've come down. The final tally, who's the winner? And honestly, y'all, all of y'all who are here,
I would say definitely Blanca and Vanessa. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
Blanca got to see number mania for the time. Vanessa got to watch this in the hot tub. Like, how's that not winning?
There you go.
Yeah. Y'all are like, all of you are the winners for this evening. And if you do want to have the slide deck, you know, it's bit.ly/EP SmackDown 3, because it is our 3rd SmackDown. Technically our 4th, because we did 2 in one day.
That's right. That was a big day.
Yeah, but you know, you're getting something new every single time. I hope you're getting something new if you followed all 4.
Well, and I would also like to say, I think it's significant that you could keep doing this for hours and never run out of options. And that's part of the beauty of the whole thing, right? You don't go, all I have for that is chapter 12. That's all I've got.
Yeah. Oh, the link.
Like, we could keep pivoting and spinning and doing it. Yeah. Put the link there in the comments.
Kim, can you put the link in there?
I think so. Hold on. I had closed that page, but let me get back there.
Yeah, but it's just so usable anywhere and everywhere across all content. That you really can't, you know, you can't really say no to it. And in terms of prep, it is such easy prep. So,
I can't even like think about planning without my Eduprotocols. Like, it's like my go-to. It's
Yeah. And once you get in rhythm for a whole week and the kids understand 8 or 10 protocols, you're gone, and everything's just a riff on that. And that's where I'm at. My kids have been back in class. So I've been kind of baby birding them through protocols for the first 8 or 9 weeks. We were kind of doing our thing, but it wasn't true, face-to-face engagement. But now we're coming up on week 3. They know how to Iron Chef. They know how to cyber sandwich. Then it is going to be, we're going to be running. It's going to be really cool.
awesome. Thank you guys so much for appeasing me on my birthday and having a good time, because you know what could be better than Eduprotocol talk. So anyway, yay.
Thank you, Kim, and happy birthday. And thanks for letting us share in part of your birthday, age 49. Next year, you'll be old like me.
Yeah, I got to figure out, I got 52 weeks to make this like pretty freaking amazing. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to help you as best as I can.
Sweet. Let's do it.
We're all going to be there to help you.
I know.
That's
it's awesome. I got my whole PLN, baby. All right. Everyone have a good one. Stay safe and stay warm. It's actually getting kind of cold around here.
And have a happy Friday tomorrow. You know, maybe take one of these Eduprotocols, and if you haven't used them yet, use it tomorrow, right? Like Thin Slides tomorrow for something. Thin Slides feelings. How are you feeling today? What are some of your feelings?
And that's a great point, Val. Do something silly, you guys. Do something that's a 5-minute silly. Worst food you ever had in your mouth. Go. Shoes people should not wear. Go. Bad haircuts. Go. And let them have some fun with it, and then see the energy and see the interaction and say, gosh, you know what? I believe I could teach cloud shapes with this activity, because they weren't super excited by my last cloud shapes lecture. So hand that off to the kids. Types of clouds. Let the kids do that. Take your weekend back, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And look at Vanessa finally owns up. She's been in the jacuzzi the whole time.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Enjoy, enjoy. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.